You know we ain't gonna die. How have you not heard that song?
I have. I didn't
You're
know it
just giving me
actually said that. I didn't know that the song actually said that.
Rooster, or
Yeah.
it's the name of the song. It's literally Rooster.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That'd be like, dude, what are they saying in that "Light 'Em Up" song? What's that thing they just keep saying over and over again? You know the song "Light 'Em Up" by Fall Out Boy. What is it they say? They say it like 30 times in the song. Do you know
Yeah,
what the
they
lyric
say
is?
I'm on fire.
Okay, yeah, you got me there. Actually, they do say that one about 30 times too.
I'm
Damn
on
it.
fire.
I'm on fire. Brr, brr, brr. I have. Do you guys, whenever you're like really tired, hit that point where you actually get kind of like wired and delirious and like hyper?
Yeah.
I'm right there right now. 'Cause I am exhausted.
I'm actually pretty good.
Well, you slept.
Well, you know.
Go on.
I woke up at
slept like
4.
5 hours.
Yeah, I woke up at like 4 a.m. Local time, and I'm still
Well, I didn't sleep.
still awake. Yeah, no. I'm not like comparing or saying like mine's worse. I'm just saying
No,
like
this
I
is
haven't been asleep
this is a
yesterday.
measuring contest, Tannen.
Well, I mean, you probably win. I don't know. I actually don't know.
It
Like,
depends.
like,
Are we
I don't know.
measuring waist?
Then,
Or
like,
height?
then where's the frame of reference? Like, who wins? Is it like
I don't know.
golf score? Is it bowling score? Like, hey Tim, thanks
No,
for the
you would-
fourth
you-
month.
You would beat me in golf.
Badly, like very, very badly.
Yeah.
But
Hey, you don't know who I am. I could be Tiger Woods.
I actually would like. You know what? If you really wanted to, we could have fun with it. If you gave me a month, I'd give you a month, and you got to give me a month, and I will play left-handed up to a certain point, and you can play your dominant hand, and we could play for money.
Joke's on you. I am ambidextrous.
No, I'm saying no, I'm saying I would play left-handed, like off the tee, and then like long shots, I'll play left-handed, but then the short stuff I get to play right-handed.
Oh wow, wow! The short stuff. This is horseshit. We should have played glow golf.
Zach, you didn't hear me leave because we left at 5 in the morning. Rudy is tired, like all of us. We're all a little delirious. We're all a little
Rudy is
tired.
tuckered out.
Yeah, Rudy's tuckered out. He had a big day.
Did he have a big day?
I don't know. It's just like, it's one of those things. Like, when the little kid.
Yeah, I mean, well, we drove 8 hours last night.
Yeah.
And I've literally been working from 9 to 9 today.
Vomit. But I'm a light sleeper.
Zachary-
Well, Zach, we had our own
Do-
room in our
do
own
you know
bathroom.
Did Zachary?
Do you know what we're
Did
doing
Zachary
tomorrow?
sleep on the floor,
Wait, yeah, Zach, were you like on the floor in our room or something? Like where?
or was he in the floor in the living room, or the
I'm
chair?
also working 9 to 9.
Yeah, I don't even know where he was because like I saw Todd sleeping in the living room.
Wait, Todd stayed with you guys?
I think I thought that was Todd. Oh, you cuddled Todd. Okay, so where was Jessup? Did he leave?
Oh, Dan probably slept on the floor.
Okay, yeah, whatever. He might have slept on the floor in the other room because it was like carpeted floor, not like wood
Well,
or
Dan
tile.
sleeps on the floor. Like Dan.
He was in
usually-
Jim's room.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
mhm.
And then we had the room with like the most room in it. It was just us. Like, though we had the small. It was like funny. The room that had the most room in it, like they put the smaller bed in there, and they put the bigger bed in the smaller room. It felt like.
Yeah. Wait, the one with the peep window or the
No, the one that had the
window?
full bath, like it had a tub and a shower. Like ours just had a shower or whatever. So I guess that's why they put the king, because we had a king and a queen, and I guess that's why they put the king or whatever. All that
Those
that toilet.
apartments were sweet, though.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, we're definitely staying. We found out they have those in like a couple other major cities that we stay in. Like we're looking into it because they have.
Airbnbs or
Yeah, like those apartment things. Yeah, like that company. So like they're in Fort Worth. So we're gonna look into it. Yeah, our toilet, if you flushed it, could wake up everybody in the room or in the apartment. It like made this loud squeal for like a good 30 seconds.
that sounds miserable.
Yeah, whatever. Tim over here is just still grinding limited. Every time I'm talking to him now, he's just grinding limited. He's like, the white deck sucks in standard. Gotta go get my limited on. Maybe get my mythic run unlimited. The Enlightened Master with a subscription for his 4th month said, "Hello, gentlemen, and Rudy. JK, Rudy, you still great, and Tannen, and Brad." It scared you. Yeah, Dan. If you hadn't heard it yet, it scares the crap out of you. Like Joe did it when I got in the room, and I was like, "What? Are we under attack? Like, do I need to? What is it? What was it on the duck and cover? Is that what they taught the kids? Like, you see a flash, duck and cover. You know."
I don't remember that, though. I do remember doing duck and cover like against the wall. I think is what we did as kids.
Okay. I don't know.
And under our desks. I think it was
Yeah.
under our desks for a hurricane, and I think it was against the wall.
Yeah, I keep
Or,
reading you also live in a part of the country that gets hit by hurricanes, so we have to do that stuff. Stand in the door frame. Yeah, that's where if you stand in the door frames for earthquakes, right? So we don't learn that here.
Oh yeah, never heard that. I've also heard tub for tornado. Like
Yeah.
you throw a mattress over a tub.
Yeah, it's
My
because the tub
mattress wouldn't
doesn't.
fit in my bathtub
It's good. Well, it's just
or my bathroom.
it's just because it'll keep you in the tub, and tubs won't get ripped out. Like the plumbing will keep it in your like stationary, you know, or whatever. The more you know.
Do
Grinders
you think it
podcast.
would not be able to like move like a tornado? Wouldn't be able to rip the mattress off?
I mean, yeah, but you're holding down the mattress like while you're in the tub.
How big is this mattress?
Like, I don't know many tubs that can't be covered by a mattress. Your tub would have to be gigantic. Mattresses are huge.
No. Yeah, I'm saying like I guess the mattress would be like really. I don't know if I could get my mattress in my bathroom.
Well, yeah, like no one's actually gonna do that. No one they're like, oh look, there's a tornado coming. Let me go grab my mattress, somehow get it into my bathroom.
You shouldn't panic. You need to adapt.
What? How much?
Those
How
are
much?
the people panicking and
Well-
running?
well, how
And
mu- how
those
many-
are the people who lose to the tornadoes?
How many instants and sorceries do I have in my graveyard? So I don't need to know how much my adapt costs.
Well, it depends actually, because if you're growing and you're guarding, then it's 2 and a green.
What if I'm a Pteramander?
Pteramander, that's ridiculous, Dan. There is no the P is silent. Come on, everybody knows that.
Hey man, I'm terrible at pronouncing stuff.
What's Pterable? Now you're just making things up, man. You remind me of a real
Am I being
pterodactyl.
am I being pedantic?
That's a real word.
I know that was the point. That's
thought
why.
it was a made up fake word for a second.
Rudy, you almost ready to go?
Rudy is just looking stoically at the.
It looks like he was doing
at his-
something, so I was like waiting
At
for him.
his webcam. Well, actually, not at his webcam. At his computer screen.
I'm just waiting for you guys.
Oh, see, we were waiting for you.
We're shooting the poop.
Shooting the poop.
Well, yeah, because everyone
Wow.
says the other thing. You never shoot the poop with your friends?
No, that does not sound like something I want to do with my friends ever.
Oh, God.
Probably splatter.
Whatever you do, don't ever say that to your youngest teammate.
Why?
Hard.
He might take that the real wrong way.
Shoot the poop? Well, I don't curse around children, so.
That's just not true. I could literally show the Nova team chat to prove that.
The Avon team chat.
No one can see that.
Don't you forget about me. God, we're all like so delirious right now. This is really
I have
bad.
so many of those fucking. You know what? Never mind. He just.
I just got a message from somebody asking me to play them for 80 gold, like over because I randomly still have my Blizzard thing up, and I'm gonna be like, dude, I haven't played Hearthstone in a year and a half. Give you a 480p stream? I can't do that. I can't do that.
A 280p stream.
I-
That's oddly specific.
He said 480. He meant 480, but
Yeah.
I broadcast at 1080. I can't
You
shoot.
could probably do 720, but
Brian, whatever. He's like shoot badoop, shoot the
shop
poop.
the whoop.
No, shoot
What
the
is
poop.
shop the whoop?
What's up, Teddy? Chris Van Meter. Hello, CVM. CVM, hello.
Hola.
Hola. All right. Are we gonna get started or what's going on here?
I'm ready whenever you guys are.
I was born ready. Like, who does the thing where it's like born for this? They have
Hey, we were just talking about the young tater tot, and he appears. Look at that. Say tater tot into the mirror
Brad,
3 times, and a young
congrats,
tater tot
Brad.
will appear.
What do you congratulate me on, Brad? You were my favorite. Thank you, William.
Caw!
All
No,
right.
it's
I
too
called
early.
8 times yesterday, and that's
Can I start or?
yeah.
No, wait. Do you want to do the intro?
I think Rudy's gonna be taking a back seat today, so I got it. I got some energy right now.
Perfect. I got.
You gotta step up. You gotta step up, Bradley.
It's fine. We all know who the real standard master here is.
Yeah, I mean, you've made
It's,
so
it's
many
Andrew.
good. You've made so many good week 1 decks and done so well with them.
I know. I'm just a
Unbe-
weak master.
It's unbelievable.
Listen, someone had to carry the torch.
All right, so are we doing this? Are we starting? Rudy
where
Brixa.
we at?
I'm waiting for Rudy to start the recording. I'm waiting for Rudolph Brixa to start the recording.
Sorry, I accidentally started. All right, ready? I'm gonna start it in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Rudy, I think you hit the wrong button.
Yeah, what is going on?
You just restarted the thing,
Oh my god!
and you
did
did
do
you?
anything right today?
And now we don't have the show notes.
Oh no.
Oh my god!
Rudy, you're fired.
We'll do it off the cuff. I got this, boys.
Rudy,
Ready?
Rudy, do we need to get Rudy? Do you have like some caffeine you can go take real quick?
No, there's no caffeine. I took all the pills in my house already. I'm just fucking gonna die. It's fine.
Do we go splash some water in your face real quick?
No.
Do you want me to send Will in there to slap you?
Will, he was in the chat. Will, do us a solid.
If Will walks in here and slaps me, you guys are actually gonna see a stream to at least 20 people of me beating the shit out of Will.
That won't
That's-
happen.
It's 19. We're not 20 yet. It's 19.
Oh well, it says 20. Oh, it's 19. All right.
We lost someone.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, we need show notes, bro. I don't know what to talk about.
Are you
We got to
joking?
talk about.
I'll
some
wing it.
stuff.
I'll wing it. Let's go. I'll wing
All
it.
right. All right. 1 second. Intro.
Inferno. This sounds like a personal problem, bro.
GP Magic Fest. No coverage.
No trophy.
Rudy's sleeping in his chair. Rudy's tuckered out. He's a little baby Brixa. Little baby
A
Brixa.
friend of mine made the top 8 too, Colin Roundtree.
Oh shit!
New
Really?
Jersey.
Yeah.
My best. One
Zoning.
of my best friends won the GP.
Wow! Look at that. I like Colin. He's owning.
Yeah, Colin's great. Yeah, the top 8 was just like stacked and just never know. It's fucking great. All right, I'm gonna start the recording in 5 seconds.
Whoa. Somebody. Am I not in there anymore? Okay. All right, I'm good. All right, let's go.
2, 1.
You did it again, Rudy.
God.
You did it again.
No, it's okay.
Just see if you start the recording without typing in stuff or whatever.
Recording.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Grinders Podcast. And yes, we are live, even though Rudy did his best tries to keep us from being live for this episode. Anyway, I'm joined by Rudy Brixa and Bradley Carpenter. How we doing, boys? Rudy, I know you're sleepy. Brad, are you at least a little more awake than Rudy is?
I am fantastic. I had a nice nap today. I'm ready to talk about some Magic: The Gathering.
Okay, we can get to that in just a minute or whatever, because I haven't slept in quite a while. Rudy hasn't slept in quite a while, so this episode might be fun. We'll see what happens. There might be some awkward silences here or there, maybe a pause. Someone be like, "Wait, what was the question?" kind of thing.
I'm just kind of sick.
Yeah, I
don't
know.
What happened today? I just like was feeling fine, and then today has been awful for me. Actually, by the way, so we got home like decently early, considering we had an 8-hour drive. We got home like around 1 to 2 ish. I slept terribly. I woke up multiple times throughout the night, so I was up at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. and then I had to wake up at 8 to take a shower and go to work. I went to training for a new job that I have, and then I went to go get lunch before I went to my other job. And on the way from lunch, my car started shaking, and the check engine light came on, and one of the cylinders is misfiring, so I have to get that replaced. That's like $250.
Tilt.
So yeah, pretty happy about that. And then on my way back from the car shop, after I found that out, they called me and were sending me to a different store altogether. So I had to drive all the way back to another store. And the second I got there, my head started killing me, and I've just been feeling sick and miserable all day. And I don't know.
All right, we're glad you're at least gonna try to gut it out. So me and Brad will try to carry the show. AKA, I'll talk a lot. Brad will talk a little bit, and hopefully you chime in every now and then. But
Yeah, I mean, what else is new, Tanner?
yeah, exactly.
The heavy lifting here.
Yeah, so so this week it was pretty fun. We can get into the actual magic of it in just a minute, but it was pretty cool. We all got to hang out a little bit this weekend. So we were in Indianapolis, and there's a tournament going on. We'll get to that in just a minute, but we did a couple cool things hanging around in Indy. Brad got to see where we were staying. Brad, you stayed with some other people the first couple nights, right?
Yeah, I stayed with one Rudy Bricks.
Okay, so we rented these. It's like an Airbnb, but it wasn't. It's like just a giant apartment building. You could just like rent the apartment in it. It used to be like an old shopping center type thing or whatever. This like 8-story thing in these. So like we rent this apartment, like this 2-bedroom apartment thing, and we're thinking it's just gonna be like you're gonna walk in, there's just gonna be 2 bedrooms or whatever, and it's just like a fully furnished apartment. It's got like a living room, like a full kitchen, 2 full baths, 2 full bedrooms. It was just great. There was more than enough room for everyone. We had like a full kitchen table. It was pretty great. After the tournament, we went to the room that some of the other SCG players were staying in. I think P. Sully, Cedric, Ryan Overturf and stuff were staying there. We watched the Royal Rumble as well. That makes my consecutive years of watching the Royal Rumble at 2. I watched it last year after an open as well, and I don't watch wrestling, but boy, is that thing fun to watch. Brad, you were in there too. Were you having as good a time as I was?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I was rooting for my besties, players, I guess.
Well, yeah, so
whatever players you end up getting.
Yeah, so for like what people didn't know is like they came up with this cool way to kind of like not really like bet on it or gamble on it, just to like kind of make it more fun. Where like everybody put up $5 or something, and so the Royal Rumble is a wrestling match where 30 people are gonna fight each other, but they all come in at like a staggered interval of time. It starts with one person, then a second person comes in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's 30 different wrestlers. And so everyone in the room that was participating got numbers. You'd get like 3 or 4 numbers depending on the amount of people in the event, in the bet. And whoever came out of that number, that's like your dude. That's like your participant, right? And so whoever's guy won, like let's say the 25th person in won the Royal Rumble, which I think it was like the 15th person in won. So whoever had that, which I think was P. Sully, they win the pot. 11. It was 11? Yeah, because he was only in the fight for like 2 minutes. He got, like destroyed outside the ring and just stayed there for like, 20 minutes. But anyway, it was a ton of fun. I don't watch wrestling. I watched it when I was a lot younger. It was like a lot of fun. I didn't get to see like the heyday of it. I wasn't around for like Stone Cold and The Rock. I was more like late Hulk Hogan, like early NWO. I think I don't know. Did either one of y'all watch it around that time?
Yes, that is primarily where I watched it. Like a lot of like Stone Cold, Rock, Goldberg, Sting.
Yeah, I remember Goldberg and Sting.
Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash.
Did you watch like any of the WCW when it was like really big, when they put a bunch of money into it?
Yeah, that was like when Goldberg was like insane, and I think it was like Goldberg, Hogan, Sting, and Kevin Nash. I'm trying to think who else was
Scott
specifically.
Hall.
Yes, or Scott Steiner, I think it was.
Steiner was in there too.
Pump.
Yeah.
Booker T.
Yeah, we could go on about this forever, but anyway, I forgot how entertaining those shows are, and what made it better is we had Cedric in the room, and he was like, it was almost like he was still doing the show from the weekend, like the SCG Open, like a player would, a wrestler would come out and he'd give you like the little rundown card of like the player. He'd be like, oh, this guy's like a great tag team wrestler, but he's drawn dead in the Rumble. Like, he's never going to win an individual title kind of thing. So like, you knew who to focus on a little bit more. You maybe hear some of the storylines. Oh, he's like, oh, that person's feuding with this person. And you'd see it like kind of take place on the screen. So it kind of like enhanced the viewing experience a little bit as well.
Great. Just the like, oh, that's a 0%er.
Yeah,
drawn dead there.
Yeah, it was just
and there goes over the top rope.
Yeah, it was just a ton of fun. Anyway, so there was a tournament this weekend, and it was pretty important. It was the first Standard Open ever or the first Standard tournament really ever of a decent size with Ravnica Alliance in it and Allegiance in it. And Brad, you did pretty well this weekend, right?
I did okay.
Yeah, so Bradley top 8 of the tournament. Rudolph and I did not do that. We won some games, we won some matches, but things did not go our way. But Brad, you played a deck that didn't get a lot
of matches this weekend.
Yeah, I X3'd both events. I X3'd and then X3'd. Yeah,
I did not win very many matches.
Yeah, I went.
This weekend.
I went like 6-3. I went like 6-3, 5-3. I think it was only 8 or how many rounds were there in Standard Classic? Whatever. Anyway,
probably 8.
Yeah, so I think it went 6-3, 5-3. But Brad, you played a deck in the Open that didn't get a lot of press going into the tournament. Not a lot of people talked about it. And it's mostly because you didn't play a lot of new cards. You didn't have any like build around me new cards. You didn't have anything big and flashy. Like it was like the Hydroid Krasis coming out party this weekend. It won the tournament, so it was like the big card everybody was talking about. You had Pateramander in your deck, but what chose you to play Is It Drakes?
So I what generally ends up happening, like my testing process, for these tournaments is play a bunch of leagues with decks, try to figure them out, and like slowly as I'm like understanding the format, I'll eventually get to the point where the tournament is very very close, and I have to make a decision, and usually I have a couple deck ideas to choose from, and I was mulling it over, and then I decided there's really only one course of action. So I messaged Andrew, and I said, Andrew, what should I play? And he said I should play Is It Drakes, and yeah, it was there was a lot of work I put into it. Took a lot of time, a lot of hours grinding with terrible decks, and yeah, no, the deck was good. Andrew and Dan played it at the Invitational, and they each 7-1'd. It's basically that list with a slightly different sideboard, and the old setup was 8 Drakes, 2 Searchers Canta, 2 Niv-Mizzet. So what we ended up doing was just taking out the Niv-Mizzets, putting them in the sideboard, taking out Search because it's terrible now with all this
Enchantment removal.
hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a significantly worse card for like the long game. And yeah, you just play for Terramanders. It's like a cheaper threat, so you don't have to commit as much mana in the later turns, and you can still manage to put pressure on your opponent, especially like the control decks and things like that, while casting all your cantrips, removal spells. So yeah, deck was awesome, and I think people underestimate the power of Dive Down. That's probably like the biggest reason I like the deck, is just like people just don't know how to play around that card, or they're more willing to like play into it, kind of similar to like how Infect used to be.
I will say I actually played your 75 in the Classic on the next day, and I can definitely attest to everything you were saying. I think I lost one game where I cast a Dive Down in the entire tournament, and it was to protect my only threat, and then it died, the next turn or whatever. Pateramander impressed me quite a bit, even so much as like just playing it on turn 1, being able to attack turn 2 and cast Chart a Course and not have to discard a card. Just like little things like that. And then, like you said, just chipping in damage here or there, and just being a very big threat for a very low mana cost later in the game is pretty big too. So I liked the deck a lot. Rudy, what did you play in the Open?
So I unfortunately did not have as much time to put into the standard format as I have in past standard formats, and so I settled on playing a Sultai mid-range deck, which obviously was extraordinarily popular. A lot of people, came to the same conclusion that if you're playing all these just good mid-range cards, then you have Hydroid Krasis. That I figured, or what my plan was, is that if you're going to play Hydroid Krasis, which I think is a very exceptionally good card, that the cards you want to draw off it are, lands, some amount of lands, powerful creatures, and good removal. And I felt like Sultai midrange kind of was the best deck at hitting all of those different options. And it was also just good at beating nonsense. So that's what I ended up playing on day 1. However, I had just like a pretty unimpressive run. Lost to just a smattering of different decks. And so day 2, I ended up playing a deck that I didn't get to work on enough, but I thought might have been really well positioned, and that's Esper Control. And we even saw a couple Esper Control decks do well. I believe 2 different copies made top 8 at the Open.
It won the Classic as well.
And it won the Classic.
Yeah, I got browned by him as well.
There was 2 copies of Esper Control in top 8 of the Classic, 2 copies in the top 8 of the Open, and there was Esper Control that got 9th in the Classic, and Esper Control that got 11th in the Classic. This deck looked good, and it felt really good when I played it. The matches that I lost were, one was completely my fault. I showed up late to my round because I didn't hear anything. And sometimes you just kind of lose game 1. That's like what happens when you play a control deck. You draw the wrong half of your deck, which is something that could happen. And I died. And then the other 2 matches that I lost, I got stuck on 3 lands once, and then I drew 24 lands in another match, and that kind of happens. But otherwise, like past that, like even in the games that I was losing, the deck still felt smooth. Like your mana base wasn't really as painful as I thought it was going to be. You have a lot of real good ways to catch you up with Absorb and Chemist's Insight, and Teferi is still just a hell of a Magic card. I mean, looking at all these deck lists, I think the one thing we can conclude is that blue is just possibly just the best color right now by like a pretty decent margin. I don't know if you looked at the top 8 deck lists for both the Classic and the Open.
Yeah,
every single one is blue.
Yeah, they have a lot of really good splashable cards. Like there's good aggressive cards, there's good reactive cards, there's very powerful planeswalkers. I kind of came to the same conclusion you did before the tournament. I actually thought Esper would be in a decent enough spot if you could make sure you didn't get run over by mono red. The one problem we had was we kept, getting run over by mono red in a lot of spots where your draw didn't line up, or you like draw absorb and you're already losing on board and they just like don't play into absorb. Like the better mono red players just like won't cast spells into your absorb mana, And then we had a problem where if you couldn't get like a Stranglehold against the Sultai decks, it's like kind of hard to beat Krasis in the late game if you're not doing anything. Like if you don't have a Planeswalker going and then you start, casting a Krasis for like 3 or 4 or 5, and it doesn't matter if you kill it. If you're still drawing 3 to 5 cards off of it, you're going to eventually just get buried by just random stuff and stuff. So like that's kind of like why we shied away from it. Jim came very close to playing it this weekend at the Open, and he ended up playing I guess people were calling it like status red, though our version of the deck was like drastically different. I actually thought his deck was great, like very, very good, especially for a week 1. There was like 1 or 2 small problems with the deck, and if he finds a way to fix it, I think that deck like has a lot of legs for the rest of Standard. But we saw a pretty big smattering of different decks in the top 8 of the Open as well. So, we saw a couple different Sultai mid-range decks. We saw Bant mid-range, we saw Azorius aggro, like you said, Esper Control, is it Drake's? And that's a decent enough thing. We didn't just see like 2 archetypes being the top 8. Like you said, blue was represented kind of heavily in this top 8, but we're getting a pretty big, diverse format. It looks like it's forming up. And if you go down to like 10th place, you see a whole nother deck in mono red aggro. And then if you go a little further down, you start seeing like Grixis Control made top 16. That's something I didn't think I'd be saying. A Grixis deck doing well. Rakdos aggro was in 19th. 4-color Gates was in 20th. So in the top 20 decks, you're looking at like 7 or 8 distinct archetypes. So I got to ask you guys, is this going to hold in this format? Like, you're going to see this many different decks? Are we going to see even more different decks? Or is it all going to like kind of come towards the center at some point?
I mean, I think this is only the beginning, right? Like, we'll see archetypes come and go. And then we'll also see a lot of other decks just kind of come back and like tune themselves. Like Bant Fog obviously had a very poor showing this weekend.
Yeah, and Reclamation overall had a very poor showing, I think.
Yeah.
People were ready.
I think that's more of a product of just people haven't really figured it out yet. Also, a note on the basically every deck being blue. I wonder if like what the count of like Disdainful Strokes / Negate in the sideboard is for all of the decks, because I would imagine every single one of them is playing one of those one card or the other, if not both.
Oh, I think it's very high.
That's probably a product of everyone being ready for Bant Fog and wanting to make sure that they won that matchup. So I don't know. Red not making top 8 is kind of interesting. Like there was a decent bit of red that made it pretty deep into the tournament. The other 9-0 from day 1 was also red.
Yeah, I played against mono red. If I remember right, once in the Open, and then like I think at least twice in the Classic. And I do still think that deck is pretty good. I don't know if you need to be like, there's a mono red version. There's a version that kind of splashes green in the sideboard, and they just play the 8 red-green lands because it doesn't like super hurt you too bad. And it plays like Cindervines and the new red-green split card that one of them deals like 6 to a flyer, and the other side gives it +4, gives a creature +4/+2 and trample. I can't remember the name of it, but that card is actually very good and flexible. And so like a couple people played it and had some decent showings. But yeah, I think it was pretty surprising that mono red did not show up in the way that we did, or it showed up. It did not perform in the amount that we thought it did. And so all I got to say is this format looks great. And it looks like it's going to be one of those formats where it's really going to like the people who are really good at tuning their decks week to week, finding that little niche, like they take the Sultai deck and they just change the creatures a little bit. They're like, yeah, this week I don't want Carnage Tyrant, I want Biometric Ooze, because like it's just better in these matchups. It's just better position this week going forward. Or, maybe I don't need Duresses, this weekend. All I need are negates, and then you can like fix your sideboard some other way. Like these little bitty things, I think are going to go a long way in this format and tinkering around and stuff like that. So, I mean, it looks great. I'm pretty excited about playing Standard going forward, so I hope we get some more events sometime soon. We're going to get to see Standard again this weekend. We have Baltimore coming up. It's a team event, so...
And we also have Dallas the weekend after. That is a solo Standard event, so I'm pretty excited for that one.
Yeah, I was say we're getting a lot of Standard like the next couple weeks, but then like I don't think we get it again for like the rest of the season, except for maybe I think there's maybe one more team open, if I remember right. I don't have the schedule memorized.
I think there's another Standard open.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah, I can't remember how many they added. I thought
Richmond was changed to Standard. So
oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Richmond did get changed, so I'm excited, man. We're getting that many. Like I would not be surprised if I played a different deck in every Standard open. And I can't tell you the last time I played a season where I played multiple opens of the same format and like didn't change decks. Like I must always just like stick to a deck kind of thing. So pretty excited about that. Are you guys excited about the future of the format?
Yeah, I mean, Play Design is really doing a great job. To be honest, last Standard format was great, and one of the things that I really liked is we were kind of seeing. Changes in decks and new decks pop up even towards the end of the format. And I mean, even though that obviously there was a lot of blue decks right now, looking at like the unique archetypes, there's several different ones. It should be, mentioned that there were 2 Esper controls, there were 2 Sultai mid-range. That's kind of going to happen week 1, but we had a basically mono white aggro deck. We had a Bant Flash deck. We had an Esper mid-range deck. We had Is It Drakes? Like, these are all decks that just made top 8. And there was, I believe, another Esper mid-range deck in 9th. There was. So there were multiple, kind of weird decks. Somebody got 12th with just black-green, I believe. I'm going to check it out. Yeah, it's literally just black-green from last format.
Yeah, they just like, I don't need the new set. If you look at the classic results, Bant Nexus got 2nd place. Mono Blue Aggro got 3rd place. Sultai Climb made top 8. We're seeing that the format is open. Yes. Like there's ways to attack this format, and maybe we haven't figured it out yet. I think that's great. Is it just me, or it felt like all the Standard formats lately have been figured out really quick, and then it's been kind of boring for the rest of the season?
That's not true.
I was asking if you felt that way.
I don't think it was. I think that's changed since the introduction of Ravnica.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Like a stale format where nothing could beat black red.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I was hoping we weren't gonna have that happen again, is what I'm saying. Since it's been getting better and less, because we didn't really get to play with the original Ravnica set. There was no Standard events. So
no, we've definitely moved away from what was going on, and things are looking great now. I'm pretty excited for Standard. Based on what's happening this week, what are you looking at for next week?
Man, I don't know. I maybe revisiting Esper, honestly, because like it put up better results than I thought it would. It held its own against Sultai better than I thought it would, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just dodged all the Sultai decks, because there was a ton of them. Sultai was the most represented archetype in day 2, so maybe it doesn't have as bad a matchup against Krasis as I thought. Maybe other people figured out how to beat it, and I'm just stupid, so...
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would think traditional Esper control would fare well against the Sultai decks, I think.
Yeah, it's just like, the game goes super long, you get to draw a lot more cards than you do. That's a problem. Like, if the mid-range deck is drawing more cards than you are, plus they're mixing in, like, negate or duress somewhere, that can be really hard to beat. It's really hard to beat their good draws, is what I'm saying. But they, some of their draws are mopey, where they just draw a million Explorer creatures, and you just keep 1-for-1ing them until you cast a fairy.
Yeah,
also, Wrath is just good against that deck too. Was that Rudy?
Yeah, for sure. Do you know what card looked really bad all weekend?
What's that?
Like all the control decks, Thought Erasure.
Okay.
I did not think Thought Erasure looked good in any of the the only time that I liked it is I think Nick Cowden actually is kind of like a genius, because he just had 3 Thought Erasure in his sideboard, and I think that feels like if the format's super fast, that card's not great. and the card's only like reasonably good against Crassus. I think that's really where you want it for, is like those Crassus matchups.
It was really good against me, for what it's worth.
Oh, sure. Drakes too. Like these kind of like blue mid-rangey decks that are either trying to like drown you in card advantage with Hydroid Crassus, or trying to, get like large tempo swings with Spell Pierce and Negate. Like Thought Erasure is really good at setting those things up. I think Chromium looked awful all weekend.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of that being the win condition, honestly.
I also played an Esper Mirror where my opponent cast it on turn 7 during my end step and then lost the game.
All right, I can see that.
Like we both had a bunch of cards in hand. We literally went land go, land go, land go, land go, land go, and my opponent was like Chromium, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be tough. And then like a few turns later, I was like, oh, this is not hard to beat at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was just browned it. So I don't know. Chromium looked bad. I think there needs to be another win condition. Besides Teferi, obviously, I don't think it's Chromium. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. I've seen main deck Lyra. I wonder if... I played a Kaya this weekend, the Planeswalker, in the Chromium slot. And I actually thought it was a lot better than people are giving it credit for. You keep playing against all these green decks that are Fine Finality Memorial decks, and Kaya just destroys that setup. If you're playing against the green decks with Banefire, or if you're playing against the red decks with a lot of burn, just eating like a bunch of creatures and just gaining like 4 to 8 life just completely changes the the structure of the game. It just gives you a ton of time.
I can see that.
I don't think Kaya is like a good Planeswalker. I don't think it's like a very good Magic card, but I think in the context of how the Esper control shells are built and what that deck wants to do, I think Kaya is good specifically in like what you're trying to accomplish in that deck.
Okay, awesome. So I think we can all agree that Standard looks great and that we're all looking forward to playing some more of it. Now, speaking of the new Ravnica set, did you guys know that there was a Grand Prix / Magic Fest that happened this weekend? Because if you didn't know, don't worry, you weren't the only person who didn't know, because I don't even know how we start to approach this talk, because we're going to kind of lay into Wizards probably a little bit here because of some stuff that happened this weekend and some stuff that people figured out without it ever being told to them. So there was a Grand Prix this weekend. There was no video coverage, which is not unheard of lately. There's been a few Grand Prix that haven't video coverage. There was also no text coverage in any way. And I don't mean, they didn't write up feature matches. They didn't even put the results anywhere. Like, you couldn't go get on the Wizards website and like check round 14 results. Hey, how's my buddy doing in this? He told me you did really well day 1. I want to see how he's doing. You couldn't go do that. There was just no coverage. And when they were asked about that on Twitter, like someone tweeted at them, they talked about how they weren't going to do it and they weren't going to do it going forward. So we pretty much roundaboutly found out of the death of coverage of Grand Prix and Magic Fest this weekend without it ever being formally announced.
Yeah, it's
what?
Extraordinarily disappointing,
right?
I gotta tell you something, Tannen.
Yeah.
If I was a program, right? I have my own network, and I wanted to, get this out there, and I wanted to jump into esports. Let's just pretend. Let's make up a show name. Let's call our show Tigtone. Right? For example.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that. Call it something else.
That's a pretty made up name. I would be pretty upset if I was Tigtone from the creators of Tigtone, and I was just told through a Twitter announcement that there would be no video coverage of the thing we were sponsoring. Yeah,
right? And so, I don't know if you saw this, but SEG was hitting over 20,000 people watching it at points this weekend.
Yeah.
And we'll see if those numbers hold. If it's just like, hey, it's new standard. Let's see if those numbers hold over the next couple weeks, or if they see a big spike in it, because that could be a thing too.
And talking about spikes, for example, do you actually know what happened this weekend at Magic Fest, New Jersey?
No, of course I can't. No one knows what happened there. Not even the people that were there.
It was sold out.
Right. It was a very small cap, to be honest.
Out. I mean, sure, but when was the last time you heard about a limited Grand Prix getting capped?
Probably like the Vegas ones at like 4,500 people.
Yeah, Vegas. Okay,
yeah.
so the premier master sets.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But but the normal ones don't. And so the fact that like this happened means, one, Wizards is doing a great job at limited. People are interested. Arena has, caused a lot of people to be a lot more invested in limited. So there's a lot of, really good things going on with Magic right now.
Can I interrupt you for 2 seconds? Can I interrupt you 2 seconds? Okay, what you just said is so important that I need to say this. So when you say that, when you make that great point, isn't that something that you'd be like, yeah, we should broadcast this to the world? We're seeing absurd numbers. We're selling out. People are super interested. They're coming from Arena to play Paper Magic. We should show them the product.
Yeah, the fact that like Kevin Jones is tweeting out what's happening in a Grand Prix top 8 is really disappointing. He took a picture of them drafting, and there's literally, it looks like a team draft. Looks like people are just doing a side event draft, and it just happens that Calcano and PV were in top 8, and it sucks too because from what I've heard, everyone who went to the Magic Fest New Jersey loved it. It was really well run. Everything was really well done on time. There was, not a lot of space because there were just so many people, and that's exciting. And I hope that Wizards sees this and maybe reconsiders doing any sort of coverage for limited GPs in the future. And I think that, if we're getting to the stage where we're getting sold out and people are really tuning in and limited is just getting better and better, I think that will directly translate into more people watching. If people are willing to show up to the event, people are probably also willing to stay at home and watch. So I think that's a possibility. So I hope in the future, maybe Wizards, fixes that. I mean, we had a limited Grand Prix with Calcano and Paulo Vitor Damarosa and several other people who have GP top 8s, like Dylan Gellis, who lost in the finals. The last limited GP he played, he also top 8'd.
Yeah, Colin Roundtree was in there. A lot of top 8s.
There's just so many great stories like that can happen, and I didn't obviously this doesn't have anything to do with it, but like this is a personal bias thing. One of my best friends, Max Williams, made top 8 at the GP, and then won the GP. And I had no idea that he even made top 8.
Yeah,
well, it was just nothing anyway.
There's going to be more on that in a second, by the way. We're gonna talk about that in just a second because there was some bad stuff. But Brad, you wanted to say something in there.
It was mostly I was thinking about the arena thing growing. Like I actually heard like multiple people over the weekend at the SCG, and they're just like, "Yeah, I'm so excited to play." Like I don't know what I'm doing though because I've only been playing on it, or I learned how to play on Arena, so like I don't know what this sideboard thing's all about. But they like you could just hear the enthusiasm in their voice. It was cool, just like players next to me and stuff like that. It was very weird.
I played multiple people this weekend that they were like, "This is my first big event." And I didn't want to make assumptions, but one of them I was like for sure was an Arena player because like he understood how the game worked really well. Like he was playing everything. And then like something came up that like, like an interaction of a card came up that like, he might not have seen before in Arena or something that like, can't really happen on Arena. And it's a little different in real life. And he was like, wait, hold on. What are we supposed to do? And the guy's like, we'll just call a judge. He's like, oh yeah, do I just put my hand up? And it was like, he was cute. You know what I mean? Like it was just like awesome to see that. See this new thing like happening to people because like they're playing Paper Magic for like the first time. And that's great. I love it. And by the way, if you run into people like that at these tournaments, please be nice to them. Please don't take advantage of them. Like, be welcoming. But back to what Rudy was saying. Did either one of y'all see any of the pictures of the person winning or anything that was going on? Because you're talking about how there was no coverage this weekend. There was also no trophy for this Grand Prix. By the way, Ely Cassis has still not gotten a trophy for his win as well from the last one.
So basically, Wizards has made this stance where something got messed up with the trophies, and now they are mailing trophies to people. That's what happens. If you win a Grand Prix, they're mailing your trophy. Yeah. The trophy that was in every picture was actually the GP Vancouver trophy.
Right.
Which I'm pretty sure belongs to someone.
This is not the first time this has happened. I remember there was a Grand Prix like I think 2 years ago, if I remember right. It was like one of the first ones I think Huey did coverage for. And this is when we were both living in Las Vegas, and I remember I was like talking to him about it, and he was like packing up, and I watched him just grab a trophy. If I remember, I might be misremembering the story, but I remember like I watched him like grab a trophy, or I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, the trophy's not going to be there, so they need one to take the pictures with, so I'm just bringing a trophy." Like he's bringing a Grand Prix trophy because like they've used the same one for like ever, And so this isn't the first time this stuff's going to happen, but it just kind of like it just piled on, right? You're just seeing all this stuff going on Twitter. They're like, there's no coverage. People have no idea who won, and like the guy that won Max was like kind of having fun with it too. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, Wizards, hi, I won a Grand Prix this weekend. I won your Magic Fest. How's it going? I'd love it if you maybe like made a tweet about it or put something on it. Because usually you're slathered all over the front page for a few days, right? And on this, he's gonna get nothing, right? And so I've seen some posts from pros and stuff that are just saying like, I'm just not gonna go to the next one I booked. Like I see people they're talking about canceling their flights and stuff, and people are wondering, is this the death of paper Magic? I think that might be a little far, because like you said, we had good showings this weekend, but it definitely scares you of like what the future is that's going to go on. Another thing that came out from this weekend that I saw some people tweeting about, Nick Prince was tweeting about this, and I want to read his tweet and a response that came to it, and hear what you guys want to talk about, because this is something that we've mentioned on the show before, but I kind of forgot about, and I think Wizards kind of happy people forgot about this, because his tweet says, also, let's not forget that we're decently far into what would have been the PPTQ season for the third PT of the year, and we still have no information on the new system will or when it's going to start. So they literally have not given us anything. They told us there's going to be a new system. We still haven't gotten anything, and we're halfway through what would be the season. Yeah, Ari Lax responds with, there is literally a $1 million Mythic Invitational at PAX East on March 10th, and it's labeled as a challenger event, and all we know about it is that Ray Saito lost his invite. That's the only thing we know about that tournament. It's $1 million tournament, like practically a month away, and we know nothing.
Wow, that's actually insane. It is basically a month away.
It's literally blowing my mind thinking about this. We have no idea what the queuing system is going to look like. Because like someone asked me the other day, hey, are you going to try to make the top 32? And I was like, hell no. It's impossible. Like, they are so firmly entrenched. It's impossible to catch that. And then there's literally nowhere to even go and figure out how you would do it. Right? We don't even know how do you qualify for a Mythic Championship? We don't know. There's all these rumors that...
I have an idea. All right, what you do, you have to go back in time. So you grab your time machine, and then you have to play and do well in the season, but make sure that you don't worry about Pro Tour Atlanta and focus on the PTs before that, because Atlanta won't count.
Yeah, that one just
don't worry about winning that one.
That was in the gray area, right? It's everything after it counts and everything before it counts, but that one, sorry Andrew, that one doesn't matter, right? And that's
the secret.
Yeah, that's the secret. Do well in the other ones, yeah.
Everybody, 75K lifetime forever. You just stream.
So it's just, oh man, it's just blowing my mind thinking about this, right? So like you made this huge announcement, we're going to be an esport, right? We're going to put in $10 million. We're going to try really hard. And all we've seen so far are the deductions. We've been told that this is happening. We've been told the list of players and what the money they're getting. I'm sure there's stuff coming down the line. I'm sure we need to announce this week, hey, we're going to be streaming stuff on like Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. The MPL is going to be playing against each other on Twitch, and make sure you watch it. And that's going to get 30,000 people watching it on a Tuesday night. 40,000 people, 50,000 people watching it. You're going to see a lot of people watching this. And they're going to be playing on Arena, Maybe they'll do some other format at some point, but I guarantee you it's going to be with Arena. And it makes me worry just a little bit that Wizards was hoping beyond hope that Arena was a success. And it beat even those possible expectations. And then they were just like, all right, just start throwing money at it. Do you think that's a possibility of what happened? That they weren't even ready for this level of success of Arena and this well, if it being received this well, and they just kind of like, all right, we're an esport now, and we'll just figure it out as we go.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I don't know how much you could be an esport if you're gonna start cutting coverage, because I'm pretty sure the coverage is just so.
It seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, I just all I can think of is when I think about other esports, real esports, like Hearthstone was, or like Overwatch is. Not only are there plenty of streams for all the big stuff, all the minor leagues also have streams too. And I think that a lot of that's like, even though obviously they're watched less, they're still just important.
Yeah, like how cool is it? Like in Overwatch, they have like the professional league, but then they have contenders. And literally the name of it tells you these are the contenders to take, like is MPL going to have like the like DMPL, like the developmental Magic Pro League, like where the next crop of players are playing and they're like fighting their way up through? We could watch that. I would watch the hell out of that. There'd be some really cool storylines. Yeah. You're like, this dude's killing it. You can tell he wants one of those. Like, he is coming for somebody's $75,000 check next year. You know?
Yeah.
He or she is coming for that check, and they want it. And, like, in contenders, you see that. You see these players, like, coming and make a name for themselves, and you're seeing it happen. Like, they're getting brought into the big leagues this year. You know, I'm a big sports fan. I'm a big baseball fan. Every team has, like, 4 or 5 minor league teams, and they can draw talent from all of it. You know? And we're not seeing stuff like that in Magic. Like you said, that's a really good point, Rudy. I love that.
Yeah, I just like, yeah, that's the thing though, like, is a lot of esports are built a lot, not just on exceptional players, but on storylines. Because one of the things we talked about on cover, in many of our coverage episodes, especially, when we had Uber on for our Magic / Overwatch coverage episode, one of the things that we discussed was how important it can be for storylines to be built. That's what people care about. That's what people get attached to the players.
A good narrative, yeah.
Yeah, good narratives are always just great. They're just like exciting things to be able to talk about. And I can't remember the name of the person, but they were 12-2 at the GP, and they got paired against Tommy Ashton, who was a very good friend of theirs. And Tommy was about to win the match and then just conceded because he wanted his friend to be in top 8 and be queued for a Pro Tour again.
Yeah, and the guy hadn't in 10 years and been trying really hard. Literally started crying in the match. Yeah. I heard the story, and that story's beautiful. That moment's beautiful.
Been an amazing coverage story, especially because Paulo Vitor Damarosa was in that top 8 and they played each other. And how exciting is that? It's just not only are you going to get to see great Magic because, one of the top 5 players of all time is playing, we also have this great storyline that you can talk about is how beautiful would it be if this guy not only beat Paulo and then just tried to win the tournament too.
Yeah, just wins the whole tournament for his buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're also taking cool firsts from people. Do you remember your first feature match? The first time you got to be on camera and go watch yourself play Magic? And it's probably because you're playing a big name player at some point in time, right? You're having the tournament of your life right now, you're 5-0 or you're 6-0 and you get paired against Efro, or you get paired against Owen, or you get paired against Brad Carpenter at an SCG event when he's doing well, and you get brought up to the big leagues and you're gonna play and you're on camera, you're nervous, but you're hoping Twitch chat's being nice to you, but they're not, but you're gonna go back and watch it anyway, right? And that just might not happen for people anymore at Magic Fest, and that's kind of sad because it's kind of a cool thing.
For sure. And even though the person that we're referring to in the top 8 of the GP, has played on Pro Tours before, has played on had GP feature matches or whatever before, it doesn't change the fact that it's still an exciting thing too. I am someone who's been on camera a decent bit, and I still always get excited to be on camera. It's just something that's really fun, and for me personally, I love doing it. And to know that I could go and play in a Magic Fest and that there's just no chance of that ever happening just kind of sucks.
I think they're going to backpedal on this, by the way, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at least hopefully we'll get more.
Because no one really knows, right? Even the coverage people said they don't know.
Yeah, and here's the actual tweet from the Magic Pro Tour, by the way. As we begin to focus on Mythic Championships in the Magic Pro League, we're adjusting our coverage for tournaments at Magic Fest. For New Jersey forward, we'll be posting critical end-of-tournament information on Sunday evening instead of round-by-round postings here and on our sites. Fans can still expect to see top 8 deck lists and tournament results on Sunday evenings. Now, obviously, we didn't get that. That being said, is this, do we even know if they are going to cover video coverage, anything?
It sounds like a no.
It feels like they're cutting back a pretty decent margin.
And you have to replace it, right?
I have a thought. Yeah, I have a thought, and I want to know how you two feel about this. With the introduction of Arena, people moving away from Magic Online, moving towards standard, limited, and potentially a new kind of standard-focused extended format, and coverage potentially being killed for Magic Fest, does this mean that we're going to see Legacy and Modern start to die off?
I think you will. I think there's a very good chance it starts to die. Because here's the thing. They've been pretty notoriously bad about scheduling the Legacy Grand Prix as well. They're usually on a holiday in a hard-to-reach area, and the numbers aren't great. Also, if they just leave the format alone, let's say they really start to focus on standard, right, in the next couple of years, and Star City Games is the only tournament series where you can play Modern at a high level for like high money. Let's say they just don't touch the ban list for the next 3 years. And literally 3 years from now, we're still just jamming Faithless Lootings into each other. Because that card is not okay. We're still just Ancient Stirrings into like all these broken colorless cards that they're building. And same thing in Legacy. They're not changing anything. It's gonna eventually make those formats die out. Brad, do you have any different views on that?
I mean, I think too many people love Modern and what it's about.
True.
I could even see maybe SCG doing something where like they curate the ban list, maybe if it got to that point. Like if Modern started dying off and like, it like kind of they just abandoned the format. I mean, look at what they did with the no ban list Modern kind of thing. Like clearly they can just do unsanctioned events if they really want to, and people will watch. People love Modern. And people, I mean, not a lot of people love Legacy, mostly because of the barrier, but yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be hard to kill Modern. There's a reason why SCG loves it. Like the triple Modern Open was the largest Open we've ever had, right?
Yeah, it was like I think one of the biggest ones ever, if not the biggest ever for sure. And people do love Modern, but I gotta agree with everything you said. And this is not me like arguing. I'm saying there's gonna be probably some drop off if the format just doesn't change for 3 or 4 years. Like if they just don't ban a card or unban a card, because like in the interest of the format being somewhat healthy, you're probably gonna need to again at some point, right? Like we didn't have to worry about KCI 2 years ago, and now we just had it banned. So like I definitely agree with everything you're saying. Like it is the most popular format.
Yeah, it's not close. There's a reason why the Modern Classic always starts at like 9:30, and it's always 9 rounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So yeah, and I gotta agree with Rudy here. It's called the Magic Pro League. It's not called like the Magic Pro Club. It's not like this group of people. Like saying it's the Magic Pro League makes it sound like we're gonna get something from it, right? They're gonna be like Thursday Night Magic with the Magic Pro League, et cetera, et cetera. Like we'll get some kind of show out of it. What are the things called that like Randy Bueller runs on Twitch? They're called like Super Leagues.
Super League?
Yeah, we're gonna get something like a Super League, right? And like
Yeah.
and maybe we'll just start like on weekends they'll just start running like 2-day tournaments where these pros don't have to travel. You know what I mean? Like they could just play from their house. They'll play arena because I know they're working on that in client tournament mode or in client best of 3 where like they can challenge each other, and whenever that works, that's gonna be big, and people can play the tournaments from their home and start qualifying for Mythic Championships. Because here's the thing, there's a lot of rumors going around that if you're Mythic this season, if you finish in the top X amount of players, that it might qualify you for a qualifier. The typical thing Magic likes to do. Here's an announcement of an announcement. Here's a qualifier for a qualifier, kind of thing. They love their satellite stuff. I gotta believe there's something like that coming. Do you guys agree?
Yeah. I think we're gonna see some sort of like what if they did top 32 of the season, like at the end of it, just qualify for whatever the next Mythic Championship is, and then you just end up with 32 MPL people, 32 people who ground the thing, or you could do top 16 from each competitive rank thing, or
Right.
16 limited or 16 constructed, and then that just makes for like a 64-man tournament, which is very easy to curate and like host and everything. You don't have to worry about like a 400-man tournament, all this free stuff and things like that.
No, I definitely agree with you.
Just put a lot of
Yeah.
production into it.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting note is like I've heard a lot of pros, a lot of gold pros, a lot of people who are maybe platinum thinking about going to play SCGs now. And
They're getting harder.
I think that's like a very real thing. I mean, we saw Wyatt Darby come play. I saw Shaheen Sarani tweet out that he canceled his GP Memphis flight, and he's going to go play SCG Bolt and SCG Philly and possibly some other ones. And he's only going to play local Magic Fest now. And he's saying like that's it for him. He's just going to go back and onto the SCG train. And if that's the case, and Shaheen's doing that, I mean, obviously Shaheen, has a long and storied history with SCG. He writes for them. He's played on quite a few open, has a few invitational top 8s. Maybe that's just not the end. Maybe that's just the start of it. First is Shaheen and Wyatt Darby, and they're really enjoying the SCG circuit, and then some other people come play. Maybe we get Owen coming back. Owen started writing for SCG again, and that to me is kind of like a scary thing, right? Because if Wizards is doing such a mediocre job that pros are leaving, that what does that say?
No, absolutely. And I got to say, it was kind of cool. I actually got paired against Mr. Darby this weekend, so I got to play against Wyatt Darby in the tournament, and we played a very interesting match. I'm not going to go into it, but if he ever hears this, he'll have a little giggle to himself. But it was pretty cool. Like, I got to play a Pro Tour champion, right, at an SCG Open, and we were one of the table ends. We were like literally the last match on the end of the table, so we had like a little bit of a crowd watching, and it had a little bit of a different feel to it. And that was pretty cool. And I won't say I was nervous, but there was definitely like more to it than normal for me. You know what I mean? Like I actually like felt it more than normal. Does that make sense? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you're playing like a really big match. Pressure. Yeah, like maybe some pressure, like whatever you want to call it. Like maybe not nerves. I usually don't get too nervous in matches. I'm not immune to it or whatever. Everything's just another match pretty much because like you play so often now. But like it was really cool, right? And like. It was cool to see someone that big. Like, yeah, maybe they only do it for like their localish ones. Like maybe they don't go super far and travel to all of them, but I welcome the challenge. Like we're gonna have like the average player is gonna be even better now on an SCG tour event. You're getting some big names and stuff, so definitely think that's pretty cool. Speaking of SCG Opens, we got another one coming up this week. All three of us are going, correct, to Baltimore?
Yeah, this is actually kind of exciting. This is like. I feel like we have this conversation generally a lot, and where we're like, oh, I mean, maybe I'm not going to the Open, maybe you're going to the Open, Brad's definitely not going to the Open, and now we're all kind of going to a bunch of Opens. But pretty soon, I think I'm going to be the new Brad of the cast. I'm just going to stop talking. I'm going to stop going to SCG Opens. I'll just I don't know. I can't call, so I'll come up with something else. I'll figure out something.
I'll teach you. I offer coaching on calling.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Real quick, though, before we go into the Baltimore thing, there was another PT champion in the house this weekend that deserves a slight shout out. Jerry Thompson did coverage this weekend, along with Brian Gottlieb. I haven't gone back and got to watch anything yet, but I definitely want to go watch some rounds of them doing some work together because I heard good things, and I can't wait to hear their debut for commentary from this weekend.
All right. So since we are going to SCG Balt, Bradley.
Yes.
Coming off a fresh top 8.
Yes.
Who's your team for next week? What format are you playing?
No. Squad up.
I am teaming with my best pal, Zachary Canner, and Joe Stempo.
That team is gas.
Zach's gonna be on Modern. I'll be on Legacy.
Yes. Yes.
I gotta flex on multiple formats. And Joe's gonna be playing Standard since he's gonna be testing. I believe he has Cleveland coming up, so he's going to be trying to figure out the format as that approaches.
What about you, Tannen? Are you doing the old run backs? Are you BCW squad locked?
We're doing the BCW squad. So it's going to be myself, my partner in crime lately, Ross Merriam, going to be playing Modern. I'll be playing Legacy, of course, and Jim Dave's going to be playing Standard. So it's actually pretty funny. So Ross is queued for the next Pro Tour. And so we were like, hey, like we know that you're gonna be working a lot on Standard, so if you want to play Standard in Baltimore, like we're okay with that. He kind of broached the subject, and Jim's like, yeah, I could like play Modern, and I just like I look at the guys and I'm like, well, look, hey, at a team event, I could play a format other than Legacy. And Ross's neck like almost breaks. His head snaps up and looks at me so fast. He's like, no, you are playing Legacy. And I've never seen Ross be that forceful about something like ever in my life. Like put his foot down metaphorically or whatever. So that was pretty funny. So I'm actually pretty excited to Wasteland Days and Spell Pierce some people this weekend while I'm attacking for 3. So I'm really looking forward to playing some Legacy. I've missed it. It's been a little while. I had to skip the last team tournament, the first one this year, and I really, really was upset about that. And so I'm really looking forward to playing a tournament with Jim and Ross this weekend. Rudy, who's your squad? What are y'all playing?
It's going to be me, fellow Team Nova member Harlan Fearer. I'm going to be playing Standard. Harlan's going to be playing Legacy. Harlan is just absurd at Legacy. His win rate has been actually like astronomical. And he's going to get to play in Baltimore, which is a place that he does really well with in Legacy usually. And we picked up a pretty insane third, but maybe someone who's unknown. We picked up Alex Beebe. And that name might sound familiar to you, but you might not know where. Alex won the Cube event at the SCG Invitational.
Right. I thought I knew that name. Yeah.
Yeah, he got there because he was playing KCI. Obviously, KCI is banned now. His win rate with KCI was just actually unreal. It's just between the team tournament in Columbus when he played that and the Invitational where he didn't play the Invitational but he played the side events for the Cube thing. I think he lost a total of like 2 matches between both tournaments. With KCI. Yeah, which is like an unreal stat. You know, when we talk about, someone like Matt Nass who basically won back-to-back GPs with the deck, like and his,
You're talking Matt Nass like numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just very good, but he's also just very good at Modern. He's just actually just secretly insane, but just doesn't play enough, so no one knows who he is.
Yeah, I feel like there's a few players like that, and giving them their shot is like you get. Yeah. He's gonna come and play hard. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Harlan and I were supposed to have a different third. Things got caught up. Sometimes that happens, and we were like, "Who do you want to get for your third?" And Harlan's like, "We should ask Alex." And we asked Alex, and he was like, "Fuck yes!" And I'm like, "Yes." So I'm pretty.
I actually want to point out that I once teamed with Alex and won Robert Vaughn. And Alex was by far the strongest member of this. And Rob and I really let him down.
He just doesn't lose. Like,
he played
Modern. He just doesn't lose.
He played Lantern, and it was just insane watching him play. It was basically perfect. I was just like, wow. All right, well, you're insane. You just do your thing. I'm gonna go get coffee. Good luck, guys.
By the way, I'm not excited. By the way, I'm not looking forward to playing either one of your teams because that means I'm gonna have to play Bradley playing Legacy, and I'm assuming he's playing Depths, which is like not a great matchup. And then Harlan always plays a deck that beats me, and then Harlan always beats me. So I'm not super looking forward to that either. But here's the thing: I can count on my teammates to do some dirty work with y'all's teammates. So we'll see. We'll see what happens if we get matched up.
Your standard seed is it Jim Davis?
It's the one and only Jim Davis.
Oh, my win rate in standard against Jim is a delight.
I can't. Brett, I hope we play them. I hope it's on camera, and I'm gonna replay it over and over again to Rudy.
Yeah,
when Jim browns you.
You getting browned by Harlan and me destroying Jim.
Yeah. Whatever.
I believe Jimothy is talented. I trust that Jim will be able to vanquish one Rudy.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you know what? Everyone always thinks that.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
Probably true.
Anyway.
It's probably true because I always lose.
Anyway, so we're going to be in Baltimore this weekend coming up. I can never remember the name of this damn restaurant that I always go to, but it's actually a little
Shake
far.
Shack.
No, that's not
Shake
it.
Shack. It's
Shut.
Shake Shack.
Shut. It's not Shake
We're gonna go to
Shack.
the Shake Shack.
How many times did you just say Shake Shack?
Where do you want to go? Well, hey, Brad, I have a question.
Shake Shack?
If I was in the mood for a shake, where can I get a shake from in Baltimore?
Well, there's a shack there, and they have shakes.
Is it a Love Shack?
No, it's a Shake Shack.
Oh, it's a shake. Oh, see, what a fool I am. I was thinking about the Love Shack, but obviously that's not correct here.
You're both fired. Anyway.
Wow.
I can remember the name of this Asian restaurant that we always go to every time we're there, and it's amazing. Other than that,
Fogo de Chao.
That's also
the one that I take you to.
No, it's the one that we go to. We always do the Friday night events, the BCW challenges. We always do them in MTG First, and it's like right around the corner from MTG First, and it's so good. Like,
is it a Korean place?
Yeah. I can just never remember the name of it.
Actually, kind of a funny story. That place that you might be going to. Might actually be owned by Jason.
It is. No, it is. That's why we.
Yeah,
that's why we go.
Unbelievably good. Yeah, I can. Yeah. I will ask him the name. We'll find out the name. But that place is very good. If you're in the area, it's great. Especially if you're going to the BCW challenge, be sure to ask Jason where the restaurant is. Go to that restaurant. Support them. Also support MTG First. They're always amazing.
They're great. They're so great.
Everyone. That's an unsponsored recommendation.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like where else I've enjoyed eating while we're in Baltimore.
Some places that are great.
Noodles and Company.
If you want to drive for a little bit, I believe Honey Pig.
Yeah, you've mentioned Honey Pig before. Let's talk about the ones
great. In the localish area. There's a kind of like bar not dive bar. It's kind of like just like a bar food place. Across the street. That place is actually pretty reasonable. They have a lot of really good beer on tap. Their food is not like amazing, but it's very good for what you're trying to get and the price you're paying for it. Don't go to Fogo.
Yeah, you're paying too much. I was supposed to say there's a ton of stuff within walking distance. Like you can walk either way. There's a bunch of food to be had right there. Like nothing super stood out. There's a bunch of decent stuff. There is one secret tech play that I will give everybody for Baltimore. This is available in a lot of cities that you can play SCG Opens in, but it's 100% available in Baltimore. And if Ross Merriam hears this, he's gonna laugh because we do this every single time we're there. Insomnia Cookies is in Baltimore, and they deliver. So every time that we're done with our dinner, we go back to our hotel and we get cookies delivered to our hotel door, like as if it was a pizza. They literally bring it in the box. They will bring you milk. You can order anything off the menu, and the cookies are like still warm when they get there, and it is glorious. And the cookies are
This
so
sounds
good.
amazing. I may actually.
Insomnia cookies. It's amazing.
And
Brad, wait,
Insomnia is very good.
Rudy, you and I went when we were in Vegas, right? Brad, you weren't there.
Good.
No.
Well, he
Yeah.
was in Vegas, but he didn't go with us.
Yeah, that was the only time I've ever been like the brick and mortar, like Insomnia. I've never not ordered the cookies, so like it was cool to actually go into the physical store.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
someone-
definitely interesting.
Yeah. And someone asked what happened to me not making the BCW challenge this weekend. I was not physically in the state yet. I was supposed to land at 6 p.m. Because of the flights that I had, and I landed at 11 p.m. instead. I've been having a lot of really bad luck with my travel lately, so I will do everything I possibly can to make sure that I'm there in Baltimore. I'm landing early, so I'm hoping nothing goes wrong. Here's to crossing fingers. I think that's about it for the show that we got, like for the stuff that we had covered. All right, let's get a couple questions. And I got a couple questions for you guys. What do you think?
For us.
Yeah, I got a couple questions for you guys. What do you think is going to be like the standard deck to play in this tournament next week?
Probably
still-
Sultai, right?
Yeah, I still
Or
think it's gonna be
Nexus.
Sultai. I think Sultai is just it. What we learned from Golgari last format is that the deck is very good on its own against pretty much everything in the format. Obviously there are some deck matchups that are going to be harder for you game one, some that are going to be easier, but you have the tools to beat any deck. After
All right.
that,
Okay.
the sideboard is very flexible.
Right.
You can play Disdainful Stroke, Negate, Duress, Thought Erasure, Thief of Sanity, Crushing Canopy, Plummet, Naturalize, Vivian
Right.
Reed, Karn, Carnage. Like the list just goes on and on and on.
Those are a
and
lot of
on
magic
about,
cards.
Yeah.
all the playable cards, and they're all good in different formats. So
Mhm.
once you start putting together what the format's going to look like next week, it seems pretty easy to do that.
Okay. And the other one that I have for you, and I mentioned this one because we're getting a modern tournament technically at this one too, and it's a brand new modern format. There's no KCI, and Dredge won the Classic this weekend, which did not surprise me. If I had to pick one winner this weekend, if I had to pick one deck that I thought was going to win, I'd be like, yeah, Dredge. That would be my choice. And I do think it's a good choice. Do you guys have any other good choices up your sleeve for modern this weekend?
Burn.
Yeah, one Mr. Ryan Ferry is a burn aficionado. He XO'd the Swiss. He ended up losing in the top 8. He had 2 lands in his sideboard. Brad,
Yeah.
2.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he played mono red, had 1 sideboard Blood Crypt and 1 sideboard Sacred Foundry for sideboard cards, and I think that idea is kind of interesting. If you think
It looked
Burn
really
is
good.
very popular, that's like kind of a that's kind of a neat idea. It kind of takes away from sideboard slots because it means you have to devote a lot of sideboard slots to lands, which are very medium to bad. But I do think Burn is really good. If I had to pick the best 3 decks currently in Modern, I would say it's Dredge, Burn, Arclight Phoenix.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to play one of those 3 decks, I don't think you can go wrong in any way, shape, or form.
And there's like maybe an argument to be had about like Amulet, maybe, like with the good Amulet players. Like the really good Amulet players can like do a lot of work in Modern. So I think it's gonna be an interesting tournament this weekend. We'll see. At Opens, you still see people just like play the decks they like or play the decks they own and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see what's gonna happen in Legacy. If it's gonna be the typical smattering of decks, or if I'm ever just gonna get the run of bad luck. Because there's definitely, if you look at the results of some like the online tournaments, I'm like, I do not want to play Delver in a field full of all these decks. But that's just not how it gets represented in real life. So we'll have to see. It's gonna be interesting to play all 9 rounds too. Haven't played 9 rounds in a hopefully we get to play 9 rounds, but I haven't had to play all of the rounds of day 1 in a while, so I'm looking forward to that. You can get up bright and early. You have to be ready to battle. Are you
That's
guys?
'cause you left Columbus early.
I was like dying, Bradley. Like
Yeah, that's what a weak person would say.
I literally got told to come home by my doctor. Like my doctor was like, "You should go home."
Oh, wow. Very convenient having a doctor to tell you that you can go home.
Yeah, wow. Listen, he was just sick, just missing Brandon the Canyon.
That's literally what happened. I was so nervous playing in a team open without Brandon that I just started vomiting everywhere. So I was playing the Classic this weekend, and Ross Merriam just like walked over, and the match next to me was over, so he just sits down and starts watching my match, right? So like 20 minutes go by, we go into the next game. I'm sideboarding, and like I want to bring in like 6 cards, right, in this matchup, and these 6 cards like seem good in the matchup. And I take out like 5 cards from my deck, and I cannot figure out like what I want the 6th card out of my deck to be. And I just look over at Ross and like I don't physically start to ask him, but in my head I'm like to be like, "Hey Ross, what do you want the 6th? Like, what do you think the 6th card I should cut out of my deck should be?" Because I'm just so used to having him sit next to me at like team events that like it just felt right. It just felt normal having him sit there. But anyway, super looking forward to going to the Open this weekend, seeing all you guys again, seeing everybody listening here at home. If you're in the area and you're at the event, please come up and say hi to us. Tell us what you like about the show. Tell us about how your least favorite part of the show is Rudy's beard. We want to hear these kinds of things. Let us know the feedback. Yes, Rudy. I wish everyone at home could see Rudy right now. He looks so attacked. Like he just looks like so personally attacked.
Yeah, fuck you, Tannen. Just because your fucking beard is patchy and shitty looking doesn't mean you have to attack my beard.
What do you mean patchy? My beard's literally perfect. Like
yeah,
it's like perfectly even the whole way through. I don't know what you're saying.
Don't tell him, Rudy. Don't tell him. Just let him be.
All right. Anyway, Bradley, if people at home
Yes.
wanted to find you, listen to you, watch you stream, where would they go?
they wouldn't.
Well,
Got him. Boom roasted.
you can find me on twitch.tv/BradBorigimos Enraged. You can also find me on Twitter at BradBorigimos. And you can contact me at dtannengrace@gmail.com. And or on Twitter. That's basically it, I think. If you have any interest in coaching, I actually coached someone on a little bit Death Shadow last week, and that was a lot of fun. So that's all I got to say. Where can people find you, Rudolph?
No, I gotta go next, Bradley. We've talked about
Why
this.
do you have to go next? No,
Rudolph,
I don't.
Rudolph does the whole sign off with all the other stuff, so I have to go second. He has to go last.
Why don't we make you do the sign off stuff?
Because I don't have it in front of me, and I don't have it memorized like Rudy does.
Wow.
Rudy's actually prepared, and I am not. And now you're putting me on
human
blast.
Weakness.
Yeah,
This is why you got sick in Columbus. Where can people find you, Tannen?
All right, well, you can find me on Twitter at the Tannen Grace. I tweet a lot about magic and sports and other random stuff, and sometimes food and dog pictures. You can find me on Twitch at it's just Tannen Grace. There's no the. I stream almost every single day that I'm not traveling, so usually about 4 or 5 times a week. A lot of arena lately, a lot of standard, still mix in some of the other stuff too, so make sure you come and check that out. I have been doing some coaching lately, so let me know if you'd like to do some coaching. We can get that set up. I kind of got to give a little shout out to one of my students recently. So he's been wanting to learn Tron, and I've been coaching him on Tron. And he told me over the weekend, he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get some practice in." So I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, how's the practicing been going?" He's like, "I played 3 leagues this weekend on Magic Online." It's like, "How'd they go?" He 15-0'd. So I was like, maybe I should be paying you for the Tron coaching in the future, because apparently something clicked. This man knows how to Tron him some people. Rudolph, if people wanted to find you and talk to you or hear you're talking about how great your beard is, because it is actually great. I do like your beard. Where would they have to go to do that?
If you're interested, you can find me on Twitter at the Notorious BZA. You can find me my articles every Monday over at CoolStuffInc.com. This last Monday, I actually wrote about a lot of how Team Nova approached testing for Week 1 Standard. I put in, I think, 13 different deck lists of some of the things that we were considering and some of what we were looking at. So if you're interested in seeing how our team decided to approach Week 1 Standard, you can head on over there and check it out. But also every Monday, I'll have a new article. You can find me on Facebook if you really want. Feel free to add me. I just accept everybody, which is probably one of the worst things that I could possibly do, but I do it anyway. if you're interested in supporting Grinders Cast MTG, there are a lot of different ways you can do it. Firstly, you can follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app. So if you're interested in making sure that you hear our podcast every week, make sure you go ahead and click on all of those different items. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you add us to whatever your local playlists are for all your podcasts. If you're interested in following us on Twitter, we are at GrindersCastMTG. We tweet out from there when the shows are going live. We respond to pretty much everyone, whoever tweets us. And if you're interested in hanging out with us, we do have a Grinders Cast Discord. There is a link on my podcast, on my stream, on Brad's stream, and Tannen's stream. You can either hit !podcast or !Discord. There's also a link to the Discord in the Twitter bio as well. Feel free to join us. Come hang out. We will be around and available for everyone. Everyone likes to hang out in there. We have a good time. We talk all the time in there with everybody who joins us. If you're interested in helping us out monetarily wise, we do have a Patreon as well. So if you're interested in supporting us monetarily, we do offer per episode different tiers. Certain tiers will get you different items. I know if you do at least $5, and you don't have to do $5 per episode, but if you do, we appreciate it. We'll send you signed tokens. And if you do $10 tier, we do have a special thing coming out. I already have it commissioned. I'm just waiting for it to get finished. And we do appreciate all the support from our patrons, and we do appreciate all the supports from everybody who just listens to us every week and watches us at twitch.tv/TannenGrace, usually every Monday at 9 p.m. If you follow us on Twitter, you'll know when that's not going to be the case, but almost always it's there. But we do want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate all the support every time.
Absolutely.
And we'll always do that. But anyway, that's going to do it for us. I believe this is episode 66. Which is kind of nice.
Ooh, we're almost there. We're almost there, boys.
We're almost to the
It's getting nicer. It's just getting so nice every week.
I'm not gonna lie to you, castmates. I think that just might be a meme episode.
Oh god, we should get Austin Collins on the episode and just have him do it by himself.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, never.
We'll just replace Rudy with Austin.
It's also just not going to happen either. You can't replace me.
I don't know if we should go for that strict of an upgrade, Brad. We should maybe slowly upgrade.
We'll warm up first. We'll get Will on here.
Yeah, there we go. We'll pull him. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just actually gonna next episode 67 is just gonna be me talking to myself, streaming on Tannen's stream.
Oh yeah, there you go. I'll give you the stream key when we're done. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate it. Everybody at home listening, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, that was pretty awesome. I am gonna host someone right away because I am pretty damn tired.
Exhausted.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired. So, and let Rudy get out of here. But you guys are great. I love you. Everybody at home for watching. Thanks so much for hanging out. Make sure you hit that follow button if you didn't already. Give me a follow on Twitter so you can see when we go live and stuff. But y'all are awesome. See you guys later. Boop. We'll send y'all to somebody sweet. We'll send y'all to somebody playing a really cool deck. So y'all enjoy. Thanks for watching.